Hi, my name is Eunhye Dettwyler, and I'll be presenting my research from last summer. It is called Streaming Racial Categories, Spotify, K-pop, and Genre. As a recipient of the First Year Research Experience Award from the Center for Undergraduate Research and Engagement, I'm honored to present today. I would like to acknowledge and thank also Dr. Gina Kim for her role as faculty mentor on this project. So I began this project with a few very complex questions. First, are there musicological, which basically means like audio features, or lyrical distinctions between K-pop and contemporary Western pop? My second question was, how does this categorization draw upon or complicate racial and ethnic relations? As we will see, the research process took me away from answering these questions directly, but that's part of what made it so enriching. So I'll address some of the reasons behind this project design. So Spotify is the largest streaming platform for music besides YouTube, with millions of subscribers. In fact, 1 in 16 people worldwide use Spotify. So clearly it is influential in shaping and disseminating the music that goes with certain genres. Spotify also has a way to access musical like audio features, which I will discuss soon. I decided on K-pop because music analysis, when combined with race, usually focuses on Black Americans and genres like hip hop or R&B. So I believed that with the increased visibility of anti-Asian sentiment and like the prominence of Asian relations, Asian race relations in the US, this would be a useful and enriching topic to study. So for my data, I set out to choose a sample of songs for musicological and lyrical analysis. So my goal was to get a diverse selection of songs within these genres. So I selected 3 playlists from the pop genre, 4 playlists from K-pop, and I used country as my control group. These playlists were all created by the Spotify editorial board. So for my methods, I did my data processing and analysis primarily in RStudio. And so in order to get the audio and lyric information from Spotify and Genius, I needed to use an API. So an API is a set of defined rules that enable different applications to communicate with each other. So basically, it's just an information transmitter from like a website to a program. So for methods, also on the qualitative side, since that was more quantitative, once I had taken the lyrics from Genius.com, I analyzed them in NVivo, which is a qualitative data analysis software. So this program helped me carry out a modified coding scheme on 30 songs randomly selected from each genre. So like most coding, my process was iterative and loosely based on grounded theory. So in simplified terms, I had pretty much a 3-part process. So first, I scanned for words, phrases, and sections that referenced emotions, experiences, maybe brand names, items, and then I looked over my codes and condensed them and clarified them to which would be most important for analysis. And then I went through with second cycle coding to match the first flagged words and phrases with the reevaluated codes. So let's get on to the findings. First, I'm going to talk about my literature review, which I consider to be part of pre-research for sure, but also a large part of research process, especially in the humanities and social sciences. My first significant area of literature review was on genres and boundary work. This was largely inspired by a cultural sociology class that I took. Um, and so I was questioning, how do scholars define genres? Are they musical, geographical, interactional, racial? The most basic conception of a genre is a set of stylistic forms like melody, mood, rhythm, etc. But sociologists have more of a interactional perspective. they see genre as socially constructed organizing principles. So I was able to think more deeply about how classification schemes interact with the social world. The second area of review was race and popular music. So, the American music industry, as we probably all know, has a large history of racism and segregation. Most of the research in the area of race and popular music deals with music from Black Americans, but this research itself has often been essentialist and insensitive uh, towards rap music or R&B music. This shows that even in scholarship, white power continues to define the dominant norm. Finally, the third area of my review is on K-pop. So K-pop is part of Hallyu, which is the complex dissemination of Korean cultural products into the rest of the world. So basically, the spread of Korean culture that began in the 1990s, which includes K-pop, K-dramas, K-beauty, etc. Previous scholarship on K-pop usually ends up focusing on either the role of the government in building soft power, Korean entertainment companies, which are often associated with mistreatment of the artists, and fan culture, because K-pop has a strong presence on social media and unique engagement with fandoms around Korean culture and shared interests. With that in mind, I'll move to the thematic results. So here, this is a selection of codes that deal with emotions and expressions. So some of these codes may overlap, but I want to draw attention to the notable trend in K-pop was confidence. So confidence took many forms, from nonconformity to people's expectations, like I give it to them straight, I don't care what people think, from doo doo doo, and inspirational self-confidence, like I will get it, all my dreams. But as you can see by the four columns that are highlighted with only K-pop songs flagged, so addressing haters, swagger, toxic confidence, and bragging, this sample of K-pop songs uniquely addressed more aggressive types of confidence. I have a codebook that I unfortunately can't share here, but I actually, while coding K-pop, had to develop a new code to describe this kind of confidence that was coming out in the lyrics. Pop, on the other hand, was overall less focused on confidence, but songs that did express these confidence themes focus more on encouraging others and inspirational messages, such as like all my underdogs, we will never be anything but loud, or I don't believe in failure. I have also two interesting spots highlighted, just almost for fun. Country had more references to crying, which was amusing to me when I was doing this. And a bit more serious, K-pop had the fewest references to negative emotions, which uh, could be an avenue for potential research about the emotions that come through in K-pop. So moving to the musicological, this deals with the audio features from Spotify. So I did ANOVAs, which is basically a fancy term for comparing group means in relation to each other. So the spread of songs was quite interesting. All the K-pop songs were from the past decade, while pop and country went 2 or 3 decades back. K-pop and country were overwhelmingly clean or not marked explicit in comparison to pop. And as for modality, which means major versus minor keys, overall, major was consistently the chosen key, but K-pop was most likely to have songs in minor keys, which I thought was a notable observation. Of the audio features that were statistically significant, a few stood out. Acousticness, which was measured on a scale of 0 to 1, K-pop was noticeably less acoustic than pop and country. This was interesting because many articles, academic and non-academic, put an emphasis on K-pop's production values. You can see in fan spaces that fans also care a lot about production values, which are associated with high budgets. These high budget music videos and the ability to hire very high budget producers is usually associated with the larger Korean entertainment companies. Another significant difference was of danceability and energy. So the means for K-pop were greater than either country or pop for danceability and energy, which were also measured on a 0 to 1 scale. This was intriguing because another aspect of K-pop is dancing. Scholars have shared or have found that synchronized dancing to melodic music or music videos and dance practices are some of the defining characteristics of what sets K-pop apart from American pop. And this made me think, does the emphasis on dance and choreography in K-pop have a noticeable impact on the type of music that is produced? Um, is the music chosen based on its danceability, whether that's concretely measured or not? So all of these are just potential explanations and open up avenues for future research. The main limitation of this study is that it was mostly exploratory, not explanatory, and it has limited generalizability, mainly because of the sample. The sample for the audio analysis was 643 songs, and the sample for the lyric analysis was 90. These samples were also all taken at the same point in time in 2022. So there is limited generalizability on not being able to say, oh, K-pop songs as a whole have more energy. Um, it was just based on this sample. But I do think that it provides a really interesting area for future research that can extend beyond just a summer. There's also a questionable reliability of Spotify's audio features. So some of the more debatable ones, such as tempo, were purposely excluded from this analysis to try to preserve accurate data. So my main conclusion from this whole project is that no art form is ever as simple as its mere appearance, content, or sound. The questions that I asked at the beginning were more focused on, can we make a strict categorization? And this project showed me that art is produced socially, physically, and always by people. Although there may be differences that are very much worth exploring, it is always essential to look at how genres are socially reproduced. So I'd like to do just a couple thank yous. Thank you to the University of Oregon's Center for Undergraduate Research. I was able to complete this because of their support, and I'm honored to have been trusted with one of the 2022 Summer Research Awards. So I'm really grateful for their support. And also many thanks to my faculty mentor, Dr. Gina Kim. She is in the Department of East Asian Languages and Literature, and I would have applied for this research opportunity if Dr. Kim had not shared it with me and encouraged me and helped me generate a topic. And she provided lots of expertise in the area of lyrical analysis because she deals with literature and Korean studies a lot. So I'm so grateful for her support. Thank you also to Cameron Mulder at UO Libraries. This project would not have been possible without his expertise. He helped me set up and learn to use RStudio and the APIs that helped me get the data. So thank you so much. I'm just going to click through the appendices and bibliography real quick if anyone would like to see them for reference. And I'd like to say thank you for your time today and for taking time to hear about my interests. So have a great rest of your day and have a good summer.